The irony of St. Kitts and Nevis hosting the Commonwealth Caribbean Association of Integrity Commissions and Anti-Corruption Bodies hybrid conference, while the Integrity Commission is not fully operationalized, was the key theme of an address by former Prime Minister Dr. Denzil Douglas. He was speaking at the conference opening ceremony on Monday morning at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort, where he highlighted that the Integrity Commission is not properly operationalized in the absence of the relevant legislative framework.
Governed by the federal government, however, we have a great deal of work to do. The cornerstone of the Integrity Commission in St. Kitts and Nevis, the federal parliament, is the Integrity in Public Life Act of 2013, as was referred to by our Madam Chairperson a while ago. As originally envisioned by the former government under which it was enacted, the Act was supposed to provide a legal framework through which government can investigate corruption in public office. The Act included a code of conduct, a declaration of interest to be filed by public officials, and there were penalties for non-compliance, abuse of office, misconduct, neglect of duty, etc. The Commission was supposed to be able to take legal action when the Act's stipulations were violated. However, though chaired by the very able former Judge Pauletta Lands, there is no escaping the fact that the current outgoing coalition government has refused or failed to properly operationalize the Commission.
Dr. Douglas also berated the government for what he described as them doing away with the Public Accounts Committee.
The current situation of St. Kitts and Nevis has not done away with our country's Public Accounts Committee as originally legislated under the present Constitution. The Public Accounts Committee has been done away with under that legislation originally, instantly stripping the country's parliamentary opposition of its crucial oversight responsibilities to ensure that government funds are actually being spent as authorized by Parliament.
Attorney General Vincent Byron, in his address, said the issues raised by Dr. Douglas about the Public Accounts Committee were inaccurate and assured that St. Kitts and Nevis is committed to matters of public integrity.
My right honourable friend would have been in a position to have been chairman of the Public Accounts Committee and to carry out the functions as designated by this very comprehensive piece of legislation that can be found on our website, the Law Commission website, that is available for all of those. I want to suggest that we in St. Kitts and Nevis have followed the rule of law, that we pursue the whole process of good governance in a very formal and strict way. And we are confident that we are a proper and true party member of the international community who adhere to the principles of the rule of law and of good governance.
The theme of the 8th annual conference is Controlling Corruption. Preventative mechanisms work better than reactive measures. I'm Andre Huey for Skn Newsline.
The Concerned Citizens Movement launched its federal elections campaign on 21st May 2022 in its bid to retain its 3 seats it won just 2 years ago. The early general elections was precipitated with the withdrawal of CCM and PAM from the 3-party political coalition that had included PLP. At the Caribbean Cove launch, attended by PAM candidates, including PAM's leader Sean Richards, CCM's leader Mark Brantley urged voters to make the right choice in CCM and PAM.
We know what we have to do. I believe in Nevis, the people of CCM know what they have to do. Like my brother Spencer Brand, I was a little disappointed that we have to come to you in a federal election because we were ready for the local election. But maybe it's a good thing, because now that the federal election has come, and why has it come? The federal election has come 3 years early simply because one man, as the old people in Nevis would say, one mortal, decide that if he can't have the office of the prime minister, if he can't have all the power in the country, then he gonna mash it up. Personal power, self-aggrandizement. And I am saying the people of this country have a choice to make. I believe that the people of Nevis, the people of 9, 10, and 11 will make the right choice. The people in St. Kitts, you must make the right choice. The right choice for you is the People's Action Movement. The right choice for us in Nevis is the Concerned Citizens Movement. And when those two movements come together, we have true unity. Real unity. Unity that goes back to the founding principles. Unity that says every man, woman, and child in this country is valued. Every man, woman, and child in this country has a contribution to make to national development.
PAM and CCM accused the PLP Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris of ignoring the Charleston Accord, the guiding principles of the coalition, of actively undermining his ministerial colleagues, and of ignoring or encouraging social media attacks on his coalition partners. Glenn Bart reporting for Skn Newsline.
When visiting St. Martin, you want clean, affordable accommodations. You need Midtown Motel in the heart of Phillipsburg, a place where you can relax, take a stroll on Great Bay Beach, and that provides you easy access to great shopping. Midtown Motel, located on Front Street, Phillipsburg, St. Martin. Call Midtown Motel at 721-542-0614 and book your stay today.
The Skn Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips.
Come get your fresh smoothie at Master Mix Smoothie in Bastyr at 2 locations, the Bastyr Public Market or under the arch at the National Museum. Get a fresh, all-natural, healthy and tasty smoothie with flavors of your choice. Master Mix Smoothie knows the flavors that you like and mixes it all up for you the way you want it. Master Mix Smoothie, 2 locations, the Bastyr Public Market or under the arch at the National Museum. Master Mix Smoothie, always the real thing, always smoothie.
Nestled between evergreen mountains and the Caribbean Sea on the island of St. Kitts is the Millhouse Guest House and Convention Center. With breathtaking views, a rugged, beautiful shoreline, and immaculate manicured gardens make this the perfect location for your holiday, event, or wedding. With a large convention center, apartments with balconies providing stunning views, and a secluded cottage for larger family groups or honeymooning couples looking for some privacy. We have something for everyone. Book your stay at www.millhouseskn.com or visit our Facebook page, the Millhouse Guest House and Convention Center, an oasis of tranquility.
A small group of persons launched a protest in front of the Keon Church of God on Sunday morning, where Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris and others were in attendance. According to Larry Vaughan, one of the protesters, they stood in front of the church with placards, but were told by police officers and members of the defense force with high-powered weapons that they were not allowed to stand across the road from the church.
This morning, a group of us, we are here because we believe that no church in St. Kitts and Nevis should be a political partisan platform, and that each week the church should be used to raise political awareness when, especially by a prime minister who spends the other 6 days of the week and even Sundays victimizing the people of this country. And so we are of the opinion that if the prime minister can use the church as a political tool, then we must come in protest and let him know that the church is not a political tool. We also are very concerned that our simple protest outside the church, just standing silently, would warrant 4 or 5 police vehicles, officers with guns, with riot shield, coming to stand outside the church.
Mr. Vaughan was asked if they will be protesting at every church the Prime Minister will be visiting. Now, what do you intend to do? Are you going to stay here for the remainder of the service, or?
Oh, yes. We will be here, and we will stand outside, because you see, after the church is normally a photo op that they use for their partisan political purposes as well. And we must protest that too.
Now, supporters of the government or the Prime Minister may argue.
No, it's not supporters of the government.
No, well,
it's supporters of the People's Labour Party,
okay,
which is a weak and a failing party that wants to show up itself on election.
So the supporters now could argue and say, well, the Prime Minister has only been going to church since the last election.
That's all right, and he's been going to as many churches as possible to politicize them. Because we know that he often called the church days before and then put it out as though the church has invited him and he's a guest. I have never said, Andrew Huey, can I come to your house for something? And I advertise, Larry Vaughan is a guest at Andrew Huey's house. It has never been that way. And the Prime Minister imposes himself on the church for partisan political purposes. And every one of them who goes with the Prime Minister to do that must read the book of Matthew, I think it's chapter 21, where it says, my house shall be called a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of thieves.
Will you be going to other churches where he will be?
Anywhere he goes, Larry Vaughan will be there. I have nothing to do and all that to do it.
Skn Newsline spoke to Commissioner of Police Hilroy Brandy on Sunday evening, who confirmed that he was aware of the incident. He said the police would have asked the protesters to move if they were obstructing the free flow of persons entering the church building, but that otherwise police would not see the need to have persons removed. He said based on the photos he saw on social media, the police would have asked the protesters to go on the other side of the road adjacent the church and not obstruct persons entering the building. He also added, quote, it is a big shame to see that persons take it to this level to go to a church to protest, and this incident has nothing to do with a church, end quote. I'm Andre Huey for Skn Newsline.
St. Kitts Nevis attorney at law and new political candidate for the People's Action Movement, Chesley Hamilton, wants to break the cycle of poverty for people in Constituency 8. At his recent launch as a PAM candidate, replacing current Representative Eugene Hamilton for the next general elections, Chesley was of the view that in a country the size of St. Kitts and Nevis, what was needed were opportunities to advance. Speaking with the media post-launch, Chesley Hamilton explained his vision, especially for Constituency 8.
The people of St. Mary's and St. Peter's are proud people. I have lived in this community, almost every place in it except Connery. And they are very, very proud people. And what they want is an opportunity to break the cycle of poverty and to transcend and pass on an inheritance to the next generation. In order to break that cycle of poverty, one must make sacrifices. So therefore, whether it is in land ownership or opportunities for higher education, or being able to start and expand businesses, whether from mom and pop shop to franchises to regional companies and organizations, our people need that opportunity. Why? Because with 50,000 people in a country, all of us should have 5 opportunities, 5 different ways of earning an income. Because you should be landowner, you should be business person, you should be using your partnership with somebody, and you should have an opportunity to also invest, whether in terms of invest your money, whether in a stock market or in venture capital or something. So I am basically saying that our people, that's all they want, an opportunity. Do not try to micromanage progress. And this is what politicians want you to do. They want you to walk behind them. They want you to always begging them. I mean, politicians come and they beg you every day for a vote. And then once that happens, you must turn around and beg them. I do not want that. I want universal policies so that people could access the policies and reach as high and as far as they want to go.
Political parties in the Federation are preparing for premature general elections following PAM-CCM withdrawal of support for PLP as part of the Team Unity coalition after irreconcilable issues with the PLP Prime Minister. Glenn Bart reporting for Skn Newsline.
If you're looking for a place to host that special event, conference, meeting, social event, party, whatever the occasion, your best option is the Millhouse Convention Center in Palmetto Point, St. Kitts. Located on the picturesque Garvey's Estate, the Millhouse Guest House Convention Center has enough space for outdoor events overlooking the Caribbean Sea. If you're looking indoors, the center is equipped with amenities needed to make your event a success. And by combining both spaces, you're sure to have a memorable event, no matter the occasion. Call the offices at Millhouse Guest House and Convention Center to book your next event on simply the most beautiful place in St. Kitts. Call 668-1392. Millhouse Convention Center at Garvey's Estate, Palmetto Point, St. Kitts. Making your event memorable. It's the new and improved Skn Newsline Android mobile app. With the Skn Newsline app, you can watch your news reports, the Skn Newsline Newscast, sports, special features, and so much more. You can also send us a WhatsApp or call us directly. Go in the Google Play Store, search Skn Newsline, and download the app today. The Skn Newsline mobile app. News on the go.
An open interactive event can be described as
tremendous, effective,
on par with any conference around the world.
From exhibitions to trade shows, corporate events to product launches, from press events to political functions. We are the secret sauce behind events that make you go, wow. We've staged multiple world-class events in the Caribbean and developed the skill to deliver quality in every detail, whether the event is live or fully virtual, or maybe even somewhere in between. At Open Interactive, we got your events covered. Get your free quotation today at www.madebyopen.com.
Guyana Elections Commissioner Vincent Alexander said that a meeting on Thursday afternoon among the chairman and the commissioners of the Guyana Elections Commission and Attorney General Anil Nandalal was nothing but a fiasco. GECOM met with the Attorney General on the proposed reform of Guyana's electoral laws. But according to Alexander, GECOM never had discussions on proposals of its own to submit to the Attorney General.
Chairperson seemed to have made some submissions, which are one, her own views, an internal submission we made for this internal discussion. She submitted those to the AG's office. In today's meeting, she then went through what her submissions were. We made it clear that GECOM was in no position to have an interaction as a collective because GECOM had not collectively discussed anything, though we tried on more than one occasion to have such discussion.
For the opposition-nominated commissioners, they are staunch in their position that the reform should focus on agreed to and properly ventilated concerns of stakeholders, and that there should have been discussions and agreements at the GECOM level.
We are saying there must be a proper process of determining what are the areas to be addressed. When we know what are the areas to be addressed, then we can sit to address them, and in those circumstances, the majority view may prevail.
The long-standing GECOM commissioner believes that the proposed reform of the electoral laws is undemocratic, at least the way the laws were proposed.
In some regards, the commission is challenged to do what it has not done. And we will have to see if the chairperson and the other commissioners are committed to behave as a commission.
Sometime last week, Attorney General Anil Nandlall said that he has been meeting with groups that made submissions on the proposed amendments. He said he has already met with the private sector. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
Chairman of the Jamaica Coalition for a Healthy Society, Dr. Wayne West, is condemning recommendations from the U.S. for amendments to the management of future pandemics under the international health regulations. These amendments are set to be adopted by the World Health Organization Assembly meeting scheduled for May 22 to May 28 in Switzerland. Dr. West fears if the regulations are adjusted, this would lead to Jamaica giving up its sovereignty in relation to the issues, meaning the WHO committee with a director general would determine the nature of a potential or an actual threat in a state party after 48 hours without a response. Therefore, a public health emergency of international concern may be decided if a state fails to respond within the time frame. Dr. West is insisting the government should not allow an unelected group of persons to have that much control over a country.
Well, I can say one can see a scenario in which the Director General and his committee says that Jamaica should lock down for a week, completely. Nobody come out of the house. Suppose that happens, it's a theoretical situation, but suppose it happens and we sign off on that, then what do we do? And particularly if it is not justified, because the fact that WHO is WHO does not mean that what WHO recommends is necessarily the best.
He went further, questioning the recommendations suggested by WHO and the management of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. According to Dr. West, countries that didn't follow WHO COVID recommendations are doing far better than states that have.
For example, I can tell you, like in India, I mean, people haven't covered it, but India had a big surge of the COVID-19 last summer. But then Indian states like Uttar Pradesh implemented early treatment options using ivermectin and vitamins and antibiotics. And for 6 months, Uttar Pradesh had no death. Now, you don't see that in the mainstream media, but that's a fact. For 6 months, Uttar Pradesh had no death. The WHO discouraged the use of ivermectin in some of those Indian states, and the Indian Bar Association has filed a suit against WHO for doing that.
Dr. West says if the document is not signed, WHO would not have any legal rights to impose any rule on a country. He reiterates that the government must find appropriate solutions for the well-being of citizens. Justin Graham, CVM Live.
President Joe Biden came to Japan to bolster one of the US's most important alliances in the Asia-Pacific at a time of multiple challenges across the region. But he may have worsened one of those regional flashpoints with less than tactful answers at the main news conference, as he's done in the past. It came in response to a question about whether the US would respond militarily to a Chinese invasion to take the island of Taiwan that Beijing regards as a breakaway territory.
Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?
Yes.
You are.
That's the commitment we made.
The US stance on Taiwan has been far more ambiguous in the past, and the White House immediately had to release a statement trying to clarify the US position. But what sounded like a threat to China brought this response.
The Taiwan issue is purely China's internal affair, which won't stand for any foreign interference. Issues bearing on China's core interests, including the sovereignty and territorial integrity, there is no room for compromise or concession. No one should underestimate the Chinese people's firm resolution.
This has turned into something of a distraction in what is meant to be a strong show of unity against Russian aggression and also against increasing military threats from China, as well as increased missile testing from North Korea. As the only nation to have been subjected to an atomic attack, Japan is deeply concerned by North Korea's development of its nuclear arsenal, but it's also troubled by the increasing assertiveness of China, with ongoing territorial disputes in the East China Sea.
As a major power, China has significant responsibilities, also in the economic field, to live up to that responsibility. I think it is important for Japan to work with the United States to encourage China to fulfill its responsibilities in accordance with international rules. I think such attitudes are important.
Biden has also used the trip to launch the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, an initiative aimed at safeguarding and developing production of critical commodities like advanced semiconductors and setting universal standards for labour and environmental protection.
It's very, very clear that from America's perspective, China is now the biggest competitor on all fronts. And as a result of that, what America is doing now is building alliances across the world.
This visit will culminate in a summit meeting of the leaders of the so-called Quad Security Alliance, led by the US and seen as a further attempt to constrain China militarily in the region. Rob McBride, Al Jazeera, Tokyo.
Hot Springs Bath United shocked Skn Newtown United on Sunday in the SKNFA Premier League 2-0 in a high-pace encounter. Rocco Brown scored the first goal for Bath in the 61st minute, and Kinesi Dorset added the second in the 78th minute. Coach Alex Claxton of Bath said preparation ahead of this match was key to their victory.
It's all about preparation. If you prepare your team in terms of your training sessions, then when you come to the actual game, then you won't have to do much coaching. And so we had our objective, we stuck with our game plan, and we came out successful.
For Coach Earl Jones of Newtown, the result highlighted a bigger issue in relation to his team.
Again, for me, Newtown always preach togetherness. Once we are not together, things don't go wrong. All right, so again, maybe it might sound like I'm saying that the team is not together. Yes, we are together, but when we have little things that strain us off, and then it throws off for the whole game, we can't allow to go wrong and then we get it right. Then we're gonna continuously get results like that.
In the night's other highly anticipated encounter between Rams Village Superstars and SL Horses St. Paul's United, it ended in a 1-1 stalemate, with both goals coming in the second half. The goals came from Kwande Rogers in the 61st minute for Village and Tahir Jefferson for St. Paul's in the 85th minute. The match was very intense and resulted in 2 players, one from each team, being sent off with straight red cards. Joseph Wilkes of Village and Javon Leader of St. Paul's were both sent off with straight red cards in the 4th minute of stoppage time of the first half, each for violent conduct. Village interim coach Travis Somersall said he was not satisfied with the outcome as his team was pressing for a win.
Not really satisfied. We had the game to win. We had majority of the chances. I think St. Paul's came with a game plan and they succeed with the game plan. But in the end, it was a good game, a good fight by both teams, but not satisfied with the point.
On the contrary, St. Paul's goalkeeper Jamal Jeffers was very satisfied with the result.
Yeah, I'm satisfied because we came from behind and we gained the momentum and we tried to build from that. However, we switched off for a little moment and we needed to stay focused because you gotta know what you're doing because Village is a very technical team and you got to know what to do.
Here's the Premier League standings at the end of this weekend's results.
Welcome to the Skn Newsline Weather Report. I am Janil Boone. Here is a look at the forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. For a more detailed weather report, visit our website at www.sknnewsline.com.